Big news today in Valheim as the frozen caves have thawed. Lots of information to get to today, so let's go through it really quickly. This video is sponsored by HostEZ. HostEZ provides dedicated server hosting with the right amount of high-quality hardware and bandwidth that you need for a smooth experience. See the link and discount code below to get your server set up and start playing with your friends right away. They talk in their blog post about how it's been a big anniversary month for them and give a summary of everything that's been going on this month. They give a link to the fireside chat that they did, and I'll link that down below as well. Lots of good information there about the history and their thoughts on what might be coming up with Bonte, Grimcore, and Devoid. They also talk about a stream that they did on their Twitch channel where Robin gave us an insight into the process of designing an item, and that was really interesting too if you want to look at the background of how things are designed. And I'll put a link to that here as well. And that item they did go ahead and get through quickly, so it is in this update now, so that's exciting stuff. And they say, last but not least, the Frost Caves have finally arrived. Are you brave enough to venture into their depths, and will you find your way out before the inhabitants get you? This update also comes with a brand new event involving one of the new creatures. How will you defend yourself and your base from these fiends? There's quite a few things that are added in this update besides just the Frost Caves, and so I'll go over the patch notes and give you the details and some clarification on that too. They talk about when Valheim was released that they had given a roadmap, but that roadmap had to be canceled, and so everyone that keeps asking about the roadmap, please let that vision go because the roadmap is now extinct. However, they do say that the part of the roadmap that was an update called Cult of the Wolf is basically what's coming out with the caves, which is kind of what Luma had told me in a playing with the dev before. They talk about how they like to try to keep things a surprise, but with the mountain update, they did take a different approach and allow it to go into the public test branch. And so some of us were able to see and test things earlier and give them feedback before it went public. If you're interested in becoming a tester in the public test branch, there are links here to be able to do that. Just always make sure to make backups because you never know what's going to happen when you're playing in the test branch. And here's some big news. They give us a little teaser preview of what's to come in the Mistlands. Last time they showed us a concept of a bug that Grimcore had made, and he told me in a stream that that's actually going to be called a seeker, so lots of wondering about what that means. And they do confirm that this bug is an enemy, so that bug is not going to be helpful in guiding us anywhere. It will probably be seeking us out. So now they're kind of following the theme of flora and fauna and showing us something else that will inhabit the lands of mist. Super cool idea here, looking like a rabbit, but it also looks kind of scaly, I would say. Definitely glowing eyes. Is this rabbit friend or foe? I know a lot of people would like to be able to eat rabbit, give us a lot more interesting recipes, and of course we're going to have new recipes and things coming with each new biome. Then we get a peek at this lovely piece of concept art, which greatly captures the feeling of what we want to achieve in these strange lands. Let's zoom in and look at this a little bit closer. We have a little house made here. Looks like there is going to be some patches of regular ground, similar to the meadows or the edge of the Black Forest. So that's good. Look over here, we can see on the left side kind of some of the cliff type structures that they've given us some peeks of before. And these are different trees. These trees are not in the game right now. You can see them close up and you can see them far back. They're growing on the tops of the cliffs. That means we're probably going to get another kind of wood, another kind of resource. Might be for building, might give us a different look. And if we scroll over to the right side, you can see a bit of these jagged pointy rocks sticking up that we've seen coming out of the mist before. And look at the color of the mist. I mean, Valheim is known for having beautiful scenery, and I don't think this is going to be any exception. The different colors with the pink and the lighting in the background, this is going to be beautiful like every other biome that we have. They go on to talk about the build of the month, And show this beautiful build here made by Kit the Viking. And that is definitely a beautiful build. I love the stone on bottom, the wood on top, the spiral staircase. It's really lovely. And they say if you want to be able to have your building skills on display, head on over to Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, post a pic, and use the hashtag ValheimBotM. So let's get on to these patch notes. It says we can finally discover the strange frozen caves where their brethren reside. If you're brave enough to face them, maybe you'll even be able to learn a thing or two from how they fight. I don't know what that means. They mentioned having also optimized the game for Steam Deck. I know a lot of people are excited about that. Also includes full controller support for PC as well, and a pause feature in single player. Here we go. The general patch notes. Suddenly Frost Caves, Anniversary, Drinking Horde added, School. That's the one that Robin designed on Twitch, and they hurried up and got it into the game, so we have it immediately, and I did a little video on that. So check that out. It's really beautiful. Fixes and improvements. Pause function in single player. This means if you're in single player and you tab to the menu, that everything in game will pause. Don't have to worry about getting hit by a troll. Full controller support. Gamepad Legend and alternative glyphs. Lots of people are excited about that to play with controllers. Gamepad text input when running through in Steam Big Picture mode. UI settings and Steam Deck fixes. FPS limiter and reduced background performance. Split dialogue can take numeric input. This is a good one. So like if you're in your inventory or a chest and you hold down shift to split how much you take, and you usually have to scroll back and forth, you don't have to do that anymore. You can just hit the number. Like if you just want to grab one, hit 1, and that's what you get. So that'll save some good seconds. Signs can now be built without a workbench. Hallelujah. Especially when you're playing no map, that's really helpful for making road signs. Bug fixes and quality of life improvements. Armor stands now support gears and shield styles. No map mode tweaks, and they'll talk more about that in a bit. Detailed patch notes, new content that is spoilered. I'll go over that at the end. Fixes and improvements, FPS limiter setting, an option to reduce GPU usage when minimized, menu FPS capped to 60. So this should help some people with performance. Various console command improvements and additions. I'll go over console commands in a separate video. Fix some dungeon parts not being fully deterministic. No map mode improvements. So they've officially added the no map version into the game now. Veggie Seer alternative. So basically this means that when you find a Veggie Seer and it's supposed to tell you where the boss is, but you don't have a map for it to pop up, what it does is it kind of slowly turns your camera so that you're facing in the direction of where the boss is, of what direction you should walk. And there are some ways that you can, and there are some ways to be helpful with that as too. And if people are interested in no map, I'll do a video on that as well. Let me know down below if you want more details on how to play with no map. It is a server setting, so you set that up when you start. Max distance for shouting. So this is like, so if you do shout, you're just talking to the people nearby you. You're not talking to everyone on the server. That would make it too easy, they thought. Random build and spawn rotation. So this is something, random build and spawn rotation. This is something that came up when the devs were playing with no map, of ways that you could kind of cheat and figure out directions. No portals command. So if you want to, you can play with no portals as well. Getting ways to do that hard mode before they have a hard mode out. Resolution now only shows refresh rate when forcing exclusive full screen. Various UI fixes, we'll touch on some of those. Changed name of unarmed skill to fists, so be looking for that. That has something to do with the new armor and weapons, I believe. Helmets covering the character's face should now hide the beard. Reduced background performance is available as a setting. I think this is also supposed to be helpful for people that maybe have lower end machines. Recipes for jacket turnip and Yule stuff disabled. They caught us on that. Quality of life stuff. Building marker is more subtle and includes piece rotation. Yay! I've done videos on that before. I talked with Jonathan about it and playing with the dev, how especially when we're doing the vertical item stands, we couldn't see where we were placing them to line them up or stack them on top of each other, and he's come up with a really good fix for that. You can see through it, and it has an arrow now, so that's super helpful. Corpse Run gives carry weight bonus to compensate for unequipped belt. Some people are going to be really happy about this. Some people don't like it because they think it makes it too easy, but it helps you carry a little bit more when you're doing your naked run. Crafting stackable items while having full inventory now possible if there are available stack slots. Everybody says, yay! So this is like if you're in the cauldron or if you're making arrows and you want to make more of something, it says no space in your inventory, but there's still only one arrow in that slot. So you should be able to make more arrows of the same type and fill that slot until it's full. And now you can do that. Thank you, Jonathan. Fixed a bug where sometimes stackable items won't be taken when having full inventory and pressing take all in a chest. That's handy. Chat can now be closed using escape mouse or gamepad B. That's awesome. Makes it a little bit faster. Goes with our kind of our motor memory of hitting escape to get out of things. Gamepad support. Full controller support! Exclamation mark. They're excited. Controller legend visible in pause menu in settings. Controller text input when running in Steam Big Picture mode. Chat, characters, signs, pets, etc. can now be named using the controller. Controller mapping of all game features. Context menus will now always show controller buttons when using controller. Alternative controller glyph style option. Skills window scrollable with gamepad. Crafting can be cancelled if pressing the button again, like with a mouse. Fix and misplaced gamepad tooltips. I don't play with a controller really, so you guys can tell me which ones of these do you think are the most exciting. Steam Deck. Steam Deck is out and you can play Valheim on the go. Steam Deck controller layout shows when playing on Steam Deck. Loads default settings catered to the Steam Deck. And localizations, improvements for several community translated languages. So those are the general ones. Let's get to the spoilers. Spoiler. If you don't want to see it, click off now. New content. Frost Caves added as a new dungeon will only appear in unexplored areas. Remember, that's an area larger than just what's uncovered on your mini map because it does uncover around you as it generates a larger area. New enemies. The Ulv, the Cultist, and the Bat. You can check out some of my public test branch streams if you want to go ahead and see those in action. New crafting materials. Red Jute, Fenring Hair, Fenring Claw. New armor set. Fenris Coat, Fenris Leggings, Fenris Hood. Equip all at once for an extra bonus. And that bonus is a speed bonus, which is really cool. No other armor gives you increased speed. New weapon, new build pieces, red jute carpet, red jute curtain, standing brazier. All the builders say, yay! I showed some of these in my recent video on making custom beds as well. So you can check out some of it there. And a new event, You Stirred the Cauldron. This is an event that involves bats coming to your base. Yep, bats flying in. So it's time to get your bases prepared. Bats are about the size of a mosquito, and they can get into small spaces. Just saying. Warning. I'm going to be having all kinds of guides and videos coming out for the updates, so be on the look for that. Happy gaming!